welcome to TIA Talks. My name is Jason, your host, and today is all about rebuilding the community in insurance. And I'm actually a little bit nervous because I've got two beautiful women sitting in front of me. Jabu and Velene, welcome.
Thank you.
For those of the viewers that don't actually know who you guys are, because you are famous faces in the insurance industry, if we can say that. I'm not sure if we can even say we've got celebs in the insurance industry, but the presidents of all these, I want to say associations, groups, organizations, whatever we'll find out what you guys do and what you are. But I think that there are celebs inside of you, and we can see it when you bring it out, because when you stand on the stages and you tell us what you do and how you do it, I'm usually gobsmacked by what comes out of your guys' mouths. Jabu, we've had a few conversations, so I'll start with you. And Velene, I've never met you before, but I've seen you on the stage. I've seen you at some golf day events that we might get into. But Jabu, I want to find out from you. You are the president or incoming president of the IIG. What is the IIG?
Sure. IIG is the Insurance Institute of Gauteng, firstly, and it is this year 114 years old.
114 years old?
Yes, 114.
I thought it was like 3 years old.
No, not at all.
Oh,
not
wow.
at all. It is a very gigantic machine that's been running for 115 years next year, and we are all about engaging, connecting, and growing the institutes, the community, the world that we operate in. So it's not just about, yes, we are called the Insurance Institute of Gauteng, but it's about so much more than just insurance. So we've got service providers, we've got brokers, reinsurers.
Oh, so the brokers have a space in there
The
too.
brokers have a space in there too. Even panel beaters.
Oh, wow.
Even glass companies.
Oh, so we have seen them at the golf days.
Yes.
I have seen some of the guys sponsor the holes and things like
Yes,
that. Okay.
yes.
And
So
what do
it's for
you,
everyone.
other than the president or incoming president, do they elect you guys? How does that even work? Do people vote and is like a whole board?
Yes. So what happens is you have to start off as a council member, and you are basically voted for by the insurance industry. So it brings personality and a meaning for the people, by the people. So what you do is you firstly, show interest in that you want to serve. Firstly, we don't get paid. Can we just clear the air?
Okay. So before we begin, so maybe we jumping to what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
But the IIG,
Yes.
the Insurance Institute of Gauteng, and the GWII, the
Gauteng Women in Insurance.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you guys connected at all, or is two separate organizations?
Two separate organizations.
Okay, so Velene, you maybe tell us who you are before we even jump into the IIG.
Sure.
Oh, okay. My name is Velene Peters. My day job is the CEO of Charter Risk Underwriting Managers. And in my capacity here today, I represent the Gauteng Women in Insurance. We are a non-profit organization that was formed 12 years ago, so I'm a lot younger than the IIG.
It's because of those men.
Well, 100% actually.
Yeah.
And so what a couple of ladies recognized 12, 13 years ago was that there was a need for a platform for women who could get together that operates within the insurance industry and specifically in the short-term insurance space to really network, engage, grow, and really build community just around the women in the industry. And that's not at all taken to bash men, because we have events where a lot of the men take part in our events, and we are very cognizant of the fact that we need men as well as we need women.
Yeah.
But it really is a space where women can get together, learn from each other, grow, and build network.
Yeah, that's amazing actually. And I wanted to double down on the woman aspect of that, but you both are in organizations that are collaborating to kind of build a community within the insurance space, if I understand that right. That's right? So, and you don't get paid for it?
No?
Okay, so why do it?
Passion,
Purpose.
giving back to an industry that's given us so much. So Velene will speak on behalf of herself. However, for me, I started insurance when I was fairly young, and I always saw it as this one-dimensional thing that, you sell insurance. However, when I discovered, and through the help of so many people, discovered that you can do so much more in insurance. It's multidimensional, and whatever you want to do, you can actually do in insurance. So I want to extend that to a lot of people, to the younger Jabu who doesn't know where else to go or wants to step out of the insurance industry because they tripped and fell into it. So I want to give them a platform, and the IAG is exactly that platform, to say you can do so much more, and to give them that view that I never had. So it's about the passion, it's about the purpose, it's about come into insurance and love it as much as I do.
Yeah. And Velene?
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I joined the GWII committee. I was fortunate enough to be selected as a committee member 2 years ago. And we started out with, at that stage when I had joined, it was 2,500 ladies who were members. Today we're sitting on 2,700 members, and we intend to see that number just growing exponentially.
Yeah.
And I think what that really speaks to is that there is this need to have a platform for women, where women can engage with one another, build a network that is centered around a shared experience. And so the reason why I joined was for exactly that. I wanted to build my network. I wanted to be able to give back to the industry. I want to be a catalyst for change in the industry. And I really think that the only way to do that, if none of us do it, who will do it? So it really is for those of us who feel comfortable enough to step up and step out, and to show, if you don't see somebody that looks like you, how will they know that it is possible? And so for me, that's a really important aspect, and it's the reason why I decided to volunteer to be part of the GWII committee.
Yeah, I love that. Hopefully there's a space for gingers being podcast hosts, because if anyone looks like me, you can take this job as well. It doesn't matter. That's amazing, because I find that you said it, whoever, when you're looking in the insurance industry for, I don't know, just some hope, or just a job, you want to see a person that does resemble what you stand for, not only what you look for or look like. So I think that is something that the GWII does so well, because you're also so niche. I've met, and I'm going to speak frankly here, ladies, please don't eat my head off, but I really do think that some of the best people I've met in insurance that have helped me along my journey have been women. They've taken me under their wing. They've grown me from where I started to where I am now. And it is attributed to women. I can shout out to Renal in my office. I can shout out to Renette from TIA. There's so many that have stood by me. And yes, we've got the bosses, and I want to touch on that, which were the men. But they were training me on skills and development and all these things. But I learned the soft skills from the women in the industry. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think what you're saying is really important, because there's a lot of women who will say to you that the people that gave them a chance and a break was men.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so important that we aren't deciding who is worthy or not worthy, or who deserves an opportunity based on gender or what you look like, but it's really about the caliber of what you know and what you do. And so I think that that's a really important aspect. It's not about being exclusionary of men, but it is providing a space where women feel safe enough and can grow their network, and where women really feel empowered to be able to take the leap to the next stage, to step into that managerial role. And that really is what GWII hopes to do. We hope to be a platform where women are really learning, and in learning, feeling empowered to be able to step up and step into the next position.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think you guys have made big strides forward over the last year, if I could say that. Over the last 12 months, I've seen so much happening with you guys, that it's with you ladies, I should say, which has been incredible. I've been invited to a couple of the golf days, and I wasn't sure if I could go because I saw the name and it was in pink, So we can all go to the golf days and support the women in insurance.
Right, and that's not the only event. We've also got leader walks and trailblazer leader walks, where we have men that come. And your experience is exactly what they say. We got this email. It's Gauteng Women. Is it sent to the wrong person? Am I meant to be here? And yes, you are meant to be there.
Yeah.
So,
we were specifically selected for this thing.
100%.
I love that. Jabu, I want to talk about what Velene actually mentioned, being a catalyst of change in the industry. The IAG has been around for so long, as you've kind of informed me today. What change are you actually bringing as an organization? Because we see a lot of these organizations all over. People will get together and they tend to be just networking events that we can have a fat jaw at, we can meet one or two people in the industry, and we can go home and have another contact. I think that that's a place. There's a place for that. And obviously that's the fun side of most of the events. But where does the change come in? Because obviously the events is for you guys to get some traction and to see, you'll just get known in the industry, you know, build the name. But where does the change happen?
Well, let me tell you, we've got 4 strategic pillars as the IIG: transformation, networking, affiliation, and social. Within those pillars, we build our programs. So that's where you see the Class of program, which is a program for young leaders that have been earmarked in their organizations as, you know, the potential managers or potential exec of their companies. And they get taken through a 9-month program where they learn soft skills and a bit of insurance knowledge, and they get given a charity task to do throughout the year to sort of give back and also develop themselves. Now I've gone into that one program because I did it myself, but that's for another segment. And then within the networking pillar, that's where you find the social events that you see, the golf days, the CEO roundtables, the broker leadership forum. So there's all of those programs. And then the social events is where the inaugural dinners and the annual dinners lay. And then you get the education pillar as well, which are structured programs like the ILDP, Insurance Leadership Development Program, which is making its return in 2026.
Is that available to everyone?
It's available to everyone, Jason.
So how do we get in? So I want to know,
yes,
how do I get on the program?
Okay, specifically the ILDP,
well,
or any program.
Any of these programs, because you mentioned the education,
yes,
you know, just having a 9-month program that I assume the student or the learner wouldn't necessarily pay for, but somebody has to pay for it. Okay.
The company.
Okay. So my boss would have to say, look, we've earmarked these people. This is what, so it comes down to the employers again.
Yes.
The employers need to kind of wake up
Get
and
involved.
help. Okay, cool. I've got
Sure.
it. Okay. Back to your pillars.
Back to the pillars. So the change comes in where we infiltrate the industry to say, guys, we need change, and these are the tools that we're using to bring about the change. So we'll talk about the application process where the learner also needs to raise their hand and go, I want to be part of this. I want to bring about change within myself and within my company and within the industry. That's where the journey starts. And our programs are structured in such a way where you start from the very ground up. So we've got, for instance, an academic program where it's fresh school leavers. They don't know what to do in the insurance industry. They've never been in corporate. We take them through a program again. We partner with the company, partner with the company that's willing to sponsor the program and the students, along, yes, with an organization, for instance, a learning institute. And they
like
go,
an INCITA or something like that?
Yes, okay. Or an Apex U.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Along those lines. And then they partner together. They put together a structured curriculum for the year. So they get the technical knowledge, the insurance knowledge, and then they learn about some soft skills as well. So there's the academic program right through to I've been in the insurance industry for 3 years, 3 to 5 years, under 35. This is what I want to do with my life. This is the direction I want to take.
Go on to TIA.
Yes.
That should be on your form where they capture it. And at the end, it's like, would you like to sign up for TIA? You are under 35 with 5. Those are our criteria.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And I remember a couple of years ago where we partnered with TIA, where we said, I think the winner of the class of program gets to automatically go through to TIA because the caliber is already on that level, you know, so already you're a shining star. We've got what TIA needs.
Have you been in TIA?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
You want me to reveal my age right now?
Jabu for the next season of TIA. There we go. She's in it to win it.
If you take 50 and above.
50 and above. Oh, yeah. I didn't even ask age. I should have probably done. I've got 2 women in front of me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not done.
Don't. Stop the recording.
Velene, I wanted to just kind of touch on what Jabu said with the educational pillar and just change. What are you guys doing with change? Because it sounds like there's some synergies in the way that you guys would do things. But obviously there's a different purpose. There are different values. There are certain objectives that you also want to achieve strategically, probably as an organization. So
yeah, 100%. And I think that that's such an important comment that you made about being able to collaborate, but also having different objectives. And I think for GWII, our intention is not to proliferate the market with a whole lot of the same Me Too's. So the IIG offers the educational aspect. That's not what GWII really does. Okay. What GWII does is we've got platforms such as the Leader Walk. The Leader Walk is an event that we do. It's in collaboration with the 30% Club and Business Engage, where we have CEOs, board level, C-suite, attendees attend talks presented by really world-leading speakers, and that
Jason
could be
Mizen.
on a that could be on a number of different issues that are pertinent to industry leaders. Because we identified from the people wanting to attend that event that there was actually a gap in the market for the future leader, what we then did this year was we launched what we call the Trailblazers Leader Walk. And it's a space where that next leader, and it's not by age, it's the person that wants to get to C-suite, that wants to be the CEO, gets to attend a very similar format to our Leader Walk, but hears from really industry-leading experts. So for us, it's not so much about providing education. It's about providing platforms where you can learn by listening or by engaging with others. What we're really excited about this year, and this is a little bit of an educational program, we're going to be launching next year, the Women on Boards program. It's a program that we're working in partnership with the Institute of Directors South Africa to present, and it's going to be, we are hoping, to have about 20 ladies whose vision it is to sit on boards of companies, because that's really what Gauteng Women wants to do. We want to be a space where we're elevating women, and we are, like I said before, providing you with the skills and the knowledge that you feel confident enough to be able to take up those positions.
And just have a seat at the table.
Or create your own table, or bring your own chair to
Love
the
it.
table.
Love it. You've obviously heard that one before. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Can I join?
Are you not part of the
IOD, the program?
Yes.
If you would like to.
I would love to.
Yeah,
You
if
must
you'd
just
like
ask
to,
your
of
employer
course.
to get involved. I think it's quite cool seeing the synergy and seeing what's out there. I'm a broker, so I've been sitting on the outside, on the fence of a lot of these events for quite a long time. The only time I really went to these events was the FIA events, and I found that there wasn't a space for me at your events. Not necessarily the women's events, because I've never thought there was a space for me, but particularly in the Institute of Gauteng.
Yes.
Yeah, like how do brokers fit in to the space? Because we network with people to get business.
Yes.
I network with people at a golf day so I can get a client at the end of the day. And I kind of know what my answer is to this question I'm asking, but what is the benefit for like a broker coming to these events?
I'll start with the IIG, and this is the conversation I've been having with most of my brokers, because throughout my being a counselor on the IIG, you have to know the value proposition, like your own name and surname, for instance. So with different stakeholders, you sort of have to give an overarching value proposition, but to brokers in particular, I always say to them, listen, it's also for your development and growth. Yes, there's a client aspect, which is a huge part of your business, but you can use events like the golf days to invite your clients along and go, hey, come and take some time off and enjoy. And I can imagine.
I'm going to cut you off there, Jabu. I saw Apex U at a
Yes.
golf day.
Sure.
And you mentioned them now.
Yeah.
And I never knew what they did then. So, I mean, seeing that, I got their card because they had a conversation actually with me about one of my staff members to see if we can put them on a program or whatever.
Yes.
So that's probably one of the things that we can take out of it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
As a broker, there's so much more you can do, Jason. So in terms of also bringing in whatever ideas that you have to collaborate with the IIG, if you think that your brokerage needs more marketing and more airtime out there, come through to the IIG. You know, we can have an insight session where you tell people about what your expertise are as a brokerage, but not necessarily as an advertisement and go, hey, this is Jason, this is what I do. But what area of expertise do your insights lie? And we collaborate on a webinar where you get, I think our most watched webinar had around 2.6 and above views or participants. So those are the levels or the numbers that we've reached so far. So you definitely have a market out
Exposure,
there.
yeah.
Exposure, yes. And remember, our webinars are watched by anyone and everyone. We put the link out to social media, and the guy on the street watches our webinar and learns more about insurance, learns more about Jason's brokerage. There's so much out there for a broker, for a panel beater, not a panel beater, service provider, for a reinsurer. Yes, a reinsurer. Everyone out there can get a chance to, one, get their brand out, two, personal development and the development of their business, three, interact with a whole bigger market out there. So you'll definitely get more business.
I found that a lot of the time, exposure for us is a major thing.
Yes.
And Sapiens actually gave me a lot of exposure just on TIA talks. So let's have a quick copy break. The insurance industry is changing fast. The way we work, the risks we face, and clients' expectations are evolving every single day. That's where Sapiens comes in. They're building cutting-edge technology that helps insurers stay ahead, streamlining processes, reducing inefficiencies, and making the entire experience smarter. If you're in the industry, this is the tech you need to know about. Learn more at sapiens.com. We just spoke about Sapiens, and I never had to fight for anything there. They just helped me out. But in your organization, and I'm speaking to the both of you actually, because I see competition in terms of trying to get funding from people to help you and your organization. But I also see collaboration. So how do you kind of walk that tightrope with sponsors and with people that are actually wanting to help you and get involved? Velene, maybe you can take this one, yeah.
I think what's really important is that our organization has a reason for being. You know, we have a purpose. We're not there to really compete with the IIG or any of the other institutes. We're there because there is a niche space and a need for the organization. So when speaking to sponsors, yes, obviously we're all competing for the same pot of money.
Yeah.
But my hope would be that people would see value in what the GWII does. It's about empowering women. And that's a really important thing, because women, to your point, bring a very different flavor to conversations and into the boardroom. So I would hope that when we're speaking to sponsors, and very often the same sponsors, that they recognize the difference, and that the space that GWII plays in is really a space that touches on some of those transformation, empowerment values that companies are aiming to hit. Yeah. And I'm hoping, I would hope that that's what people see when they decide whether to sponsor GWII or not. And it's not a 1 + 1 = 1. It would actually be sponsor GWII and IIG, and you're actually going to get value, exposure, and impact. Correct. So it's really about impact on mass. You know, it's about being able to really spread your wings a little bit further than you ordinarily would or on your own. And the things that GWII does is not things that a corporate could necessarily do in its own strength. So when you sponsor GWII, you're impacting a larger spectrum of the industry at once.
And you're giving the corporate that is looking to sponsor or to make a difference, often that's a little bit mixed, you know, so they don't know if they want to make a difference or just get rid of some money. But I feel like in the insurance industry, we've got so many organizations that are actually trying to make a difference, that sponsors just need to also wake up like our employers, you know, to actually look at the impact rather than the balance sheet, in my opinion. Jabu, do you find the same kind of experience when it comes to sponsorship and stuff? It's not really a thing in terms of competition. It's really just about presenting your why.
Exactly. The why is very important. So we are also, as a nonprofit organization that also has its own value proposition. We try to partner with a sponsor and meet them where their needs are. So when we have the conversation is, this is what the IIG is, this is what we bring to the table, where can we meet you? So if a sponsor's idea is to get their branding more out there, then we'll try and advise them, as advice is in the insurance industry, that, okay, this is the program we think you'd get the most traction. Or if, as Velene said, rightfully so, an organization, we try and provide something the organization wouldn't do in their own power. So for instance, our educational programs or impact and transformation. If the sponsor's vision is to get their learners or the young people in the organization some exposure to the industry and what happens out there, or some educational or even education on their softer skills, EQ, IQ, all of those things, we give them the platform, we give them those programs. So we really try and offer things that will grow the industry and the corporates. I mean, the corporates as is. We know we don't fight. We don't fight. So wherever we can meet in the middle and provide the industry with what the need is, then we do that, and we do that very well, I think. And for instance, on an event where we collaborate very well is the Ladies' Day event, where we really don't see the need to have separate events because it is one day. And as much as GWII, is by women for women, we saw that we don't really need to have two separate events where you guys have your own event and it's all for women. Of course, they're going to get like 500 million women attending their event, and people are going to be like, okay,
why do we go to yours?
Why do we go to yours?
Yeah. So that's just strategic on your part, actually. It's just to use their event.
Listen, we try and play nicely together, and I think we do play nicely together very well at that event. So it's stuff like that where we're not doing it for us, we're doing it for the industry. And if it's going to give the industry more joy, more value, then why not?
Yeah, I like that joy. Sometimes we do need a little bit of joy and just a smile here and there in our industry. We're dealing with claims, we're dealing with all sorts of trauma. I mean, that's what insurance is there for, trauma. Yeah. So I think we sometimes need to take a load off, and just have a good time. Yeah. And I think you guys do that for us. You creating a platform not only for people to grow and develop and to learn things, but you're also just giving us a space to escape to when the industry's pressures just feel a little bit too much. Yeah. And also probably a platform to voice our concerns around the industry and just what I'm feeling. Yeah. And maybe more so at the women's event, I think. I need to go there.
Give me a little bit of detail why just the women's event.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But speaking of that, I would love a free ticket to the golf day. That would be nice.
Noted.
Okay, perfect. But only in a 4-ball with women. Okay.
Well, our golf day that is the format. It's 1 man, 3 women.
Oh, it's like I knew that already.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was an article about just how many women don't actually make it to the top. And that's kind of the gap I find that you guys are trying to close. Is there anything else that the purpose, the why, what is, maybe give me the line of what you guys are trying to achieve as the Gauteng Women's Institute of Gauteng, or whatever it is, Insurance Institute.
Gauteng
I need to get
Insurance.
it right. GWII and IIG.
Yes.
I'll get it.
I mean, I think it's really about, for me, it's about a platform. It's about a platform and a space where you can network and you can engage and you can grow and you can learn. And what you said was really important. You're not going to get the relief or the learnings if you just sit in your own company. You really get learnings when you're engaging with others, and people are sharing their experiences, and you're able to either really agree with that because that's part of your experience, or you're able to take something out of it that you wouldn't have known yourself. And so I think for GWII, that really is the space that we're trying to create. We're trying to create a space where whether you're the CEO and you're attending a leader walk and you're learning from somebody else on a topic specific to leadership, that you listen to the talk and maybe you agree with it, but maybe you don't. You're still learning from it, and it's something outside of your everyday job and pressures that the job has. Or you're somebody who really just who's just started in the industry. you don't really know many people, or you're in a brokerage and it's a really small brokerage, and maybe you're the only person that works there, or you're the assistant to the CEO, and it's just the two of you in the company, and you really want a space where you can grow your network. Because ultimately your network is going to determine where you go to. You know, you want to have your name spoken in rooms that you've never even been into. And the only way to do that is to really get out there and network with like-minded individuals. And you never know where your next opportunity could come from. You know, you could be sitting at a sip and paint next to somebody who is the CEO of a company, and that could actually be your next employment opportunity. But you don't know that. And you'll never actually get to live out that experience if you don't get out there. And so, I mean, I just think, you know, from a broker perspective, etc., it's really important to get involved in these kinds of events, whether that's TIA, because that really gives you some exposure and learning opportunity, or it's joining an organization like the IIG or
I think
GWII.
that's the better way to do it, to be honest, because TIA is way too stressful. like I would rather have joined the IIG, or if I could have, the GWII. But TIA, too much stress, I can tell you. I actually wanted to touch on something that you said, because you mentioned that the person next to you could be your next employment opportunity. Now, that's rubbed some people the wrong way in previous places that I've worked, or organizations that I've seen, where they see the invites to these events. And I'm speaking specifically for guys that are maybe in the smaller businesses, you know, not at the corporates and stuff. Maybe it's at the corporates too, but we're seeing that, yes, there's an opportunity to network with that person. But then if I send my employee or whoever to this event, they might leave. You know, so that's like a catch-22. Now, I'm asking that because I want to kind of clear the air.
Yeah.
It could happen. There's no control over it. Tell me your thoughts on that. I'm trying to get you more people at these events.
Yes.
I'm just putting it out there. So the reason I ask is because I was stopped from going to an FIA event once, because I think my employer at the time thought that I was really good at what I was doing. And he didn't want to share me with somebody else. And if they did, someone else would see the talent, because I think young and technically good in insurance is very hard to come by. And when you have found that person, you don't want to let them go. So I don't know if he saw that in me or whatever, but he didn't let me go to the event. So I don't know who wants to take that question, but is it a thing? How do we get around that? And how do we actually put employers' minds at ease?
I think we can both answer that question from different perspectives. So when I started in the insurance industry, I didn't have access to all of these events that are happening right now. I used to see my seniors going to these events, and I used to think they are restricted. It's for the elite. It's for, you know, the C-suite. It's not for me, you know. And I had that engraved in my mind for the longest time. So when I got the opportunity to go, I flung the doors open and I grasped every opportunity that I could.
It's like a big wide world out there now.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how I felt with TIA.
I sprinted into that field of opportunities, Jason, and it felt so liberating. And I was fortunate to have an employer that understood what they had, and they understood that in order for me to keep this talent, this asset, I need to set them free. If they come back, then it means they're mine.
Yeah. There you go.
Cliche. However, it's not all employers are like that, as you've stated, but if you show, I feel like as an employer, so that made me, if I can use the word loyal, it made me trust my employer to say they believe in me and they've given me the opportunity to explore what is out there in order to develop myself for them. Even if it wasn't for them and it was for another employer, but they met me halfway to say, what are your needs? How can we help you meet your needs? And because of that, I think that's why I'm here today. So shout out to Bright Insurance, shout out to Bright Specialist Motor.
And thanks, Suntime, Hollard, Old Mutual, and all the rest of them. You guys are great too. I'm just kidding.
I'm still there today because of the opportunities where they met me halfway. So to put employers at ease, Jason, I would simply say, if you spot that talent in your organization, don't tie their wings. Don't try to clip them. At least give them that opportunity and have those conversations with them. The more honest, the more transparent those conversations are, the more chances you have to keep them within your organization for as long as you want. Yeah. And the more that, if there is room to grow, then tell them that and tell them how to get there. And if there isn't, also let them know, so that, in insurance, we build networks, we build connections and everything. So you'll never know where your paths might meet or cross again, and where you might be able to assist each other because you let them go. So it's up to the employers to have those conversations with their employees and not just stop them.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, because I was at an event where I met somebody who helped me do a cradle to grave kind of solution for a massive client when I was about 22 years old.
Yeah.
And I never knew how to do that. And it gave me the confidence to sit in front of this client that I've never, and the broker at the time, he didn't want me to go to the event. Yeah. So, but I went anyway. I did. It was like one of the breakfasts or something. So I said to him, I am going. Yeah. And that's where I found that connection, because they've done it before. And I never closed the deal, but it let me it gave me the platform to, or the skills to even use going forward forever. I'm able to sit in front of somebody now and do a cradle to grave. And the first episode actually of TIA in the last season when I was on, the first task that was given was a cradle to grave thing. Sure. And I knew it like the back of my hand. And that's what got me into the top 20 or top 10 or whatever it was then. And that's all from 10 years ago at an FIA event. Wow. So I agree with you. I think we can't, there's a thing, I'm a peacock, you got to let me fly.
Exactly.
so you've got to, Velene.
Yeah, I personally, from a professional standpoint, have never understood companies that don't allow their people to flourish. I don't believe in holding people back. If somebody works in our organization and we have skilled and equipped them to the point that they now want to leave and spread their wings, well, then that is what must happen. Exactly. I don't understand why you would be afraid to lose people, because there's lots of people that are unemployed and need a job, and you can reskill.
Yeah.
And I think especially when we talk about big corporates, it is incumbent on us to give people opportunities to learn and grow, because that's the only way this economy will grow. Yeah. And so I don't understand why anyone would stop anyone from taking up another opportunity, even if that means that you lose in the short term. I think it's really important. And I think perhaps it's just my personality. I really want to see people grow and learn and move on and do well. Whether that's why
you're in the position where you're in.
Oh yeah, whether that's staying in the company that you're in for the next 30 years, or whether that's going to another company to go and find your growth, I think that's okay. Yeah. It's really incumbent on the company or the leader to make sure that they have a plan in place, so that you've got succession planning. If somebody should leave, somebody else should be skilled up enough to be able to take on that position. I don't believe in holding people back, and I'll never understand somebody who chooses to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think having a plan in place, even for an employee. So I've got an intern. He's a paraplanner now. After 6 months, he grew from intern to paraplanner. But because I said to him, his name's Dylan, shout out Dylan. He'd love the fact that I said his name. But I put him on a plan for the next 5 years. Yeah. And I don't expect him to be with me for those 5 years. Okay. But I know what his growth in the career in this industry looks like. And I know where I'm at. And I did it in 10. And I know he can do it in 5. To get to my level. And I felt like that was the opportunity that I needed to give him, because why do I have to let him wait 10 years to have the growth that I've experienced? Because at the end of the day, in 5 years, he will be doing whatever else, and I would be at another level, and he might actually be helping me doing something else. So there's so much out there, and I've just looked at my career and I can see the people that have let me flourish and let me kind of spread my wings. And those are the ones I stuck with. Those aren't the ones I left. And I think I'm going to stop it there. So I would like to ask you one final question. And it usually is the question that I ask all of my guests. But I'm going to change it up a little bit. If you could achieve one thing or change one thing in this industry through collaboration next year, what would that thing be?
I mean, for me, it's quite simple. I want to see women equipped to be able to take on positions in leadership. There's a statistic that says that men will apply for a position that they are 20% qualified to do, but women who are 80% qualified to do the job won't apply because they don't feel like they're suitably qualified. So for me, I want to change that. If there's anything that I could change, it would be to give women skills, knowledge, so that they feel confident enough to apply for those positions that they rightfully can do and should be applying for. And whether that's through collaboration with the IIG or any other organization, perhaps it's within CETA or IASA or one of our corporate sponsors. If there's any way for me to be able to do that so that I'm sewing back into the lives of women in our industry, so they in turn can sew back into the lives of future ladies who come into the industry, that is what I would like to change.
I love that. And I want to add to that also, like in future moms too, future moms to Jasons in the industry. Yeah. Because you almost brought me to tears, Velene. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Jabu because I don't cry on set. Okay, other than on the TIA set apparently. Jabu, what would you change if you could next year through collaboration?
I would like to bring, not separate, but everyone together. What do I mean by that? You are surprised that there's a platform for brokers on the IIG. I want my message through the IIG next year would be to remind people that the IIG is for everyone, and not just on a insurer, reinsurer, broker, service provider platform, but even the age thing. So you spoke about succession planning. I would like to remind people that there's a place for everyone on the IIG. So a collaborative space for companies, for people, the more experienced people to come back within the industry and teach the young ones, leave a legacy for the young ones. Expertise, skills, technical knowledge, experience. I was having conversations about this throughout the year to say, leave something behind. People telling me, I'm about to retire in the next 6 months. What are you leaving behind? Do you have mentors, that you're mentoring in the industry? So I'd like to bring the ones that are leaving the industry back in, and the younger ones to learn something tangible, something they can take forward in their careers and their lives from those older ones. So bring them in one space, bring them in one room, and have all of those people learn something from that experience.
Love it. I want to just say thank you to both of you for inspiring me today, because I feel like I was a little bit blind to what is out there, and you really have kind of shown me what I can get involved in on a real basic level. I can get involved just by being there, and whatever comes of that, we said it just before we walked in, it's a drop in the ocean, but that impact of that wave that goes out there, I really do think that you guys are doing an amazing job. And shout out, to two powerful women who have taken a step to actually use their voice and to use the confidence that you've been given from other people in the industry to actually make that difference, because it takes more of you to do and to make a difference. And I really do think you're doing a great job. So thank you. And that's also a shout out to the guys that are watching this. It's our last episode for the year 2025, and Christmas is coming up. So don't forget to give back. And I'm talking to the people in the insurance industry, not give back whatever you're thinking I'm talking about, but really think about what we've been speaking about over the last 25 episodes and really try and make a difference in this industry, because it needs it and it needs you. So ladies, thank you very much. And thank you for joining me on my final episode of 2025.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jason.
Awesome.